Welcome to AP Computer Science. I'm Doug Roberts. I'll be your teacher the entire school year. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we need to do is set up our development environment. We're going to be using BlueJ again this year. This is probably the fourth year that I've used this integrated development environment. If you point your web browser to bluej.org, you'll find this website. And if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to find the different installers for different OSs. So here's the one thing that's nice is the Windows installer now does include the JDK, which is the Java Development Kit. You used to have to do a separate download to get that, but you can get it all in one package. This one package will work on Windows XP, Windows 7, and Windows 8 or 8.1. If you have a Mac, there's two flavors here. Lion 10.7.3 and newer, and Lion 10.7.2 Lion and older. And then also we've got a Linux distribution that you can use, and then some other operating systems. So I enjoy BlueJ. I think it's pretty intuitive, and it's definitely a great way to get comfortable and familiar with Java. Now that we've got BlueJ all installed, go ahead and click the icon wherever it may be to launch it. And once it's here, you should see something that looks kind of like this. I've created a new project called Getting Started, and inside of this I'm going to add my first class. I'm going to call this class my Hello class. And typically when whenever you start BlueJ, you're going to see the exact same template every single time inside of here. And I don't really use this template at all. Maybe it's good for, like, getting familiar with some things. I do like how they have the a description of it, and then @author and @version. But for right now, I'm just going to select all this and delete it. So this class I'm calling Hello. So public, and then we have the word class and hello. I enter a line, and then I immediately enter an opening brace, and I might go down 2 and go ahead and close this brace right now just so you can see. These braces have to be in pairs. So I'm opening one for the class hello, and then I closed it below. In fact, I require that you put some comments down here. So this is the end of the class. That's where the class ends. Right here now I'm going to write a method, and this is the only method that this class will have, and it will be the main method, right? So I'm going to say public. And these are all words that we really don't know what they mean just yet. Public static void main string, an array of strings called args. So now you can see that I've got a class, and inside of the class I have one method. In fact, let's go right here, go ahead and type, this is the comment end in the method main. So the method was called main, and I end it there. So inside here we're not going to do much. All I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the computer to print my name on the screen. So I'm just going to type system. Hello, Mr. Roberts, I am the computer, period. In quotation, in the parentheses, and let's put a semicolon there. It's the little things that matter. I really want white space in there like that. So it just makes it a lot easier for me to read it, and it'll make it easier for you. Remember, the computer and the compiler can take a lot of jumbled up code, and it makes perfect sense to it. We're writing this code so that we can read it, so that humans can read it. You can read it, I can read it, a classmate can read it. So really focus on having good white space. All of the things that you see here are requirements. So make sure that you're showing me where you're ending a method in a comment, where you're ending the class. and then just be aware of the indentation and how it looks on the screen. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get input from a user. The input we're going to get is just going to be a simple string, and we're going to use the J option panel to do that. So let's go ahead and start a class, and we're going to call this interview. And I'm going to go and open up this class interview. Let me resize that so we can see the whole window. Of course, once it's all selected, I'm going to hit Control A to select everything and then delete it. I'm going to start with a public class. I'm going to call this interview. And then I've got my open brace. I'm going to go down to, I'm going to close brace, and this is the end of my class. And then up inside of here, we're going to now type, we're going to write a method inside of it. In fact, this is the main method. So inside of this class, there's going to be one method. It's the main method. So it's going to be public static void main method. This is going to take an array of strings called args. We're going to begin pretty much a lot of our programs this way. I'm going to go to a new line, open brace, close, several lines down, and then I'm going to close the brace. And right here, this is the end method main. So I've got just this class called interview, and it's got the one method called main, and both of those have their opening braces and their closing braces. Real simple, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically have the computer ask the user their name. So what is your name? The user will type their name in something called a J option pane, and then it's going to echo that back and say, well, hello, blank, nice to meet you, for example. So if you want to get text from the user using a J option pane, we need to import something. So import statements always occur before we're into the class. So you can see I've come up here before this class starts, and here's where I'm going to put my import statement. So import, this is just saying there's a bit of code that exists somewhere else I want to use. And what we're going to import is JavaX, and it's a swing component. So JavaX.swing and JO, capital J-O, P-T-I-O-N, pane. So J option pane, and then a semicolon. So inside of here, let's go ahead and print out hello, and then the question, what is your name? So I'm going to do the system question mark in the quotes, in the parentheses. I kind of actually like some white space there. In fact, I like some white space here. You're going to find that I'm kind of emphatic about these. Having these makes it so much easier to read. This is about the user being able to read, not a computer, right? A computer could read it without these. It's for the humans that we do these things. So now that I've got this prompt, hello, what is your name? We're going to create a string, string, that's the type, and the string is going to be called name. And we're going to get this string from our J option panel. So string name equals J option, oops, OP, P is not capitalized, J option pane, P-A-N-E dot. Then we're going to invoke the show input dialog, show input dialog, and in the input dialog we're just going to do quote, and I'll just say the following: enter your name, end quote. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to add this space here, and I'm going to do that. Perfect. And now that I've got this, hello, what is your name? And then the computer's going to pop up and say, hey, enter your name. Now I'm just going to echo that back. So this is going to be my last line. And I'm going to say, hello. Now this is kind of interesting. I'm going to do what's called string concatenation. I just made a string literal called, it's got the characters hello in it with a space after it. But I'm going to concatenate, which just means tack on some more characters. So hello, and then I'm going to type N-A-N-N-E, hello, and then it'll put my name there. After that, I'm going to ask it to add on some more characters. So I'm going to say concatenate that with hello. So it'll say hello Doug, then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to say N-I-C-E to meet you, period. So I've got another string literal, it's got the comma, nice to meet you. So you'll see how these three show up together, right? It's going to be hello, whatever you type for the name, nice to meet you. Okay, so this is all done, so let's go ahead and compile this code. And you can see I missed a semicolon, or as I like to call them, the dot commas. STR, it's not plural, it's public static void main string args, so singular. And we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and kind of bring it over a little bit so that we can kind of see that. I might bring it back up. And I'm just going to go ahead and right click this and run it. And the first thing it does, it says, hello, what is your name? And then you can see on the screen it popped this J option panel, or J option pane. It's the input dialog. And you know, I got to figure out what's up with this, but this is so incredibly small on my operating system. But I can read it. It says enter your name, so I'm going to enter my name, Doug, and then I click OK, and it puts hello Doug, nice to meet you, right? So I want you to look at this two things side by side. There's the output, but I also want you to see, I'd like for you to be able to also see, there we go. So notice this, hello Doug, nice to meet you. And notice how I did that by concatenation. I had this string literal hello, I tacked on my name, and then nice to meet you. In my last video, I showed you how to get user input from something called the J option pane. I'm now going to show you a different technique. This is something I used a lot in my class probably 3 years ago, which is just to use a member of the scanner class. So again, the same thing here. We're going to make a program where the computer will ask the user some questions. The user needs to provide responses, and then it echoes back. I'm calling this class interview. Let's go ahead and open it up. As soon as it's open, I realize that all this stuff I want to get rid of, so I select it all and I delete it. And let's go ahead and start with the public class interview. Open braces. And inside of here, let's go ahead and type our main method, our only method, public class, public static void main, M-A-I-N, open parentheses, S-T-R-I-N-G, this is the end of my class. This is the end of the method main. End of method main. All right, so inside of here, before we can use the scanner class, we need to do an import like we did for the J option pane. And it's going to come from the util group. So it's import java.util.scanner. So we're basically importing a chunk of code that we're going to use to instantiate an object within our class. So inside, and remember also, import statements are always going to happen outside of the class. So I'm importing something, and that happens outside of the class. So let's go ahead and create now an instance of the scanner class. So it's going to be a member of the scanner class. I'm going to call it myScan, and it's going to equal a new scanner. And then I've got system.in here. Now that I have a member of my scanner class, I'm going to refer to it as myScan. So myScan is going to allow me to do the things that the scanner class allows me to do. So if I wanted to, for example, create a string, I'm going to call the string name. And that is going to equal, check this out, I'm going to invoke my scanner here, myScan dot, input, myScan dot next line. So what this does is it invokes the scanner object I've created, myScan. It just says read the next line of text from the terminal window. Now, there's a problem with this as it's written, right? Because there's not anything that's actually printed on the screen ever, the terminal window won't trigger and pop up. So you have to have at least one line of text that's printed on the screen before it shows up. And it's good to do that anyways, because right now there's no prompt telling the user what type of thing they're supposed to enter. So it probably would be good to do a little a prompt here, system.out. Print line, I'm just going to say, please enter your name. And with that prompt, then I'm going to go ahead and ask, now that I know the name, because they're going to enter it, what will happen is they'll put please enter your name on the screen. The cursor then will flash in the next line below. And as soon as they type their name and press enter, it'll jump onto this line of code. So let's just go ahead and echo back their name. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of concatenation here. Hello, space. And I'm going to take that string literal. I'm going to tack onto it the string that's stored in name. And then I'm going to tack onto that one more string, a comma, hello, blank. Nice to meet you. Okay. So let's go and compile this real quickly. Great. So what we should see happen here is the terminal window should pop up. It should say, please enter your name. Then we're going to see a flashing cursor right below that. We'll type our name, press enter, and then it should echo back, hello, repeat the name, nice to meet you. Okay. So I'm going to come over here. Let's go ahead and So I'm going to just invoke the main method. And it says, please enter your name. And there you see the flashing cursor, right, waiting for the user to type something. So I'm just going to say my name is Mr. Shasta. And press enter. It says, hello, Mr. Shasta, nice to meet you, right? So this is another way that you can get user from the input and just, creating a bunch of strings, different strings, like you could have name, you could have favorite dessert, you could have age, birthday, whatever you wanted, and then bring those back. That's enough for this video.